What is going on with the nationality laws in Portugal? My name is Zeev Fisher. I'm a lawyer based in Portugal. I'm admitted to practice in Portugal, the UK, and other countries. I'm also a US enrolled agent dealing with tax matters in the US, and I run Fresh Portugal, which is one of the largest expat consultancies in Portugal. And I will tell you now about what is happening in Portugal with the nationality reform. So, Parliament has approved a law which changes the nationality count from 5 years to 10 years, and the time that the count starts from the first application to the residency card, which effectively means that people who previously had access to to citizenship in Portugal within 5 years from applying, now that's extended to 12, 13 years from the first application. So very big change from the shortest time period in Europe, or one of the shortest time periods in Europe, to one of the longest. And why is Portugal doing this? Well, Portugal, like other countries, is following a trend of becoming stricter on immigration, trying to make access to citizenship harder. There's also an EU-wide pressure to make citizenship harder, and the population doesn't like the fact that so many people are coming to Portugal and progressing or proceeding to other countries, there's sort of different groups have different issues with different types of migrants and expats that are coming to Portugal. But the general trend is, yeah, the population wants citizenship to be harder, and the politicians are responding. So this is what the politicians are doing. However, a lot of groups are very upset about this, and the main reason is not that the rules are changing for a longer period of time. Countries can do that, and that's completely fine. The main reason is that this legislation does not have the typical grandfathering provisions. So normally, when you change the rules, you grandfather everyone who's already in somewhere in the system. You allow them to benefit from the older rules, and you only apply the rules to new people. But the government in this proposal is not doing that. It's saying everyone who's already living in Portugal, everyone with a golden visa who applied even a few years ago, these rules will apply to all of them, and they will now need to wait much longer than they previously expected to apply for citizenship. And people are very upset about that. They're saying this is a retroactive change. You're breaching our legitimate expectations, and some language such as rug pulling. Uh, I've seen fraud and scam, and a pretty strong language from people that, especially from golden visa applicants, that invested large sums of money and had an expectation that the rules at the time that they invested will be the same rules, and have already waited for much longer than they were supposed to, because their visas were supposed to be processed much faster. Now they're very upset, and without a doubt, they will be filing lawsuits if the law passes as it is. What the government is saying in response is, this is not retroactive. We're not changing the residency rules. These are all residency programs. We're changing the citizenship rules, and this is a different law, and it has nothing to do with residency. To which people who applied for residency respond, but this is definitely how you marketed it. So everyone in the industry was part of the appeal of coming to Portugal was, you will have access to citizenship within 5 years. As a lawyer, I can say this can both arguments have some merit. I'm personally a lot more sympathetic to the anti-retroactivity argument. So I think there were promises. There definitely has been a messaging that this is access to citizenship is part of the deal, but it's not clear cut. It could go either way, and it could be argued either way as well. So what's happening now? So yeah, Parliament voted to change the law, but it's not law yet. For this to become the law of Portugal, the president needs to sign it, and the president hasn't yet reacted in any way as to whether he intends to sign it or not. But his options are essentially either signing it and then it becomes law, and then probably some lawsuits will follow, or he can reject it. He can veto the law, but then it'll just go back to Parliament. It will vote on it again, and it will go back to the president. So he's not going to do that probably. Or he can send it to the Constitutional Court, which is what he's done with the previous part of the immigration reform. And in fact, the previous part of the immigration reform, the Constitutional Court had knocked it out, or at least most of it, and the law has been changed and softened. So it's fairly likely that the president will do that. I think kind of 60-70% of lawyers in the legal community believe that he will send it to the Constitutional Court, and there's a good chance that the Constitutional Court will get rid of at least some of the retroactive effect. But it's also possible that he will sign it. We don't know. But we will know soon. We will know in the next few weeks whether this is becoming law, and then it's up for individuals to try and challenge it, or whether it goes to the Constitutional Court. My suggestion would be wait. This process is not over yet. Portugal has a system of checks and balances. So yes, the Parliament has spoken and is clearly happy with this, has a majority for this legislation. But the president and the Constitutional Court are an important part of the Portuguese system, and we should allow them and see what's the final outcome. And then when the final outcome is known, we will know what's happening. But what we do know today is that Parliament was willing to do it. So there is not the same level of interest or care about people's, especially expat rights, as there used to be. This is a fact. We also know almost for certain that for new applicants, the access to citizenship will change, and it will become harder to be a Portuguese citizen. Does it massively alter the attractiveness of Portugal as a destination or as a place to come to? Probably not. Does it make the Golden Visa in Portugal a bad deal? Probably not. It's still one of the best deals in Europe, even after this change. But it's more about the optics. So offering a certain program. This program hasn't functioned well, the Golden Visa program. Things have not been processed at the right times. And there have been very significant delays, which are completely unacceptable in orderly democracy. And on top of that, changing the rules in something that at the very best the government can say is questionable is a bad signal. And some of that was accompanied with really bad rhetoric. So one of the ministers, the minister that was in charge of that legislation, said we're prioritizing all other applicants except for Golden Visa applicants because it's morally correct to prioritize poor people over rich people, which is really completely unnecessary rhetoric and sends a really bad message. So it's a big change. It shouldn't really be a change that significantly alters the attractiveness of the program, but it's more about the optics. It's done in a very poor way, and hopefully when the Portuguese system finishes the process and the president does what he does, some of that damage will be undone. So that's what's happening in Portugal.